Yo, shout out to my brother DS1 for telling brothers to understand the importance of thanking yourself. But what's next after that? Stay tuned in a minute. I want to say salute to all my peers across the board, all veterans in general. Pray you guys are having a good 72, 96. Hopefully you're not getting pissy drunk or waking up on the yard or in a bed with something you'd rather not talk about in the morning or have to explain in front of the CEO or whatnot. But to all my brothers across the board in the civilian theater, pray you guys in good health, of sound mind and body, and handling your business. Now, this video is inspired by my brother DS1, and shout out to him doing the damn thing. And this was his last video. He mentioned about the importance of thanking yourself. And it is true. There are some guys who have risen from some very unsettling conditions and surroundings, especially dealing with people or states of mind, both legal situations or illegal consequences, what have you. There's a lot of guys who came out of the trenches, the mud, the dirt, to get to this point. What I want to add to that is when you start learning the power of thanking yourself, you need to know the next step, which is training yourself. Training your eyes to see the best out of you. So you got to counteract the programming that you've been taught to be a spiritually impaired or impoverished mule of provision. You have to change the programming that you hear with this nonsensical propaganda saying what men are and aren't. These useless automatons, human dildos, mules of convenience, or cucks. You got to start training yourself to move different, which requires you to measure your personal steps. See where you rather be. If you're able to thank yourself in the midst of some very unsettling situations or surroundings, now requires you to start training yourself to move according to where you aspire to be. I've done this personally. Last year, a year and 3 months ago, I was in a very unsettling position as far as working at FedEx, constantly moving, always injury prone. Some appreciated my work ethic, but again, for over the most part, went unappreciated as a person. Nearly got into a fight with the area manager twice. And the fact is, I nearly ran into a legal situation, potentially, and they had to move me because of that condition. I knew when I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I had to train myself to reassure myself that I need to get the hell out of this situation. So I trained myself by saying to a friend of mine who's real solid still, shout out to him, this Friday's gonna be my last week. When Friday comes and I clock out, I'm putting my time card on the time clock and I'm done. He said, for real? Cool. Friday came, swiped the time clock, took a look around real quick, walked out and never looked back. Supervisor called me about 2 days later. No, actually, on a Tuesday. Sorry, 4 days later. Hey, man, you left your time card on the time clock. I know. I was like, okay. He figured I'd be back at work. The next day, yo, man, I didn't know you quit. Hey, man, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, look, if I do not leave and move on to something else, I'm going to need shoulder surgery. See, I knowingly have a slightly misaligned right collarbone. That's what the doctor told me last year. And had reoccurring ankle problems on my left ankle. It's very difficult to work consistently when their way of punishing shitbirds is to send them home. And meanwhile, the so-called great package handlers were stuck to clean up their mess, which never helped with your recovery period. Now, they sent the new area manager in there. Shout out to him. If he says this, it's nothing against you. And he's one of the best guys that I worked with, because when it came to working as a tandem, we always strategized and set in motion a game plan to get things going. But out of respect to him, I had to leave. He offered me to take a month off to recover or whatever, but it wasn't enough. And this new field is brand new, and sometimes you got to do things scared, which means you require that level of training to embrace adversity. Moving into a new field. Training yourself to trust yourself to head to a better direction. Training yourself to have the faith in yourself to manifest great things. And I'm here to tell you, it's not easy. But it's far more rewarding than allowing yourself to be programmed to be someone else's personal tool, lackey, or corporate bitch. We got to start training ourselves to be in the company of solid people who push us towards positive progress, who will push us forward through adversity. Not drag us. Encourage us to keep going. Reassure us to stay head first in the mission. We also need to train ourselves to get rid of the dead weight that most times we're so fond of. It doesn't matter if you grew up playing in the sandbox, graduated with each other, came out the same recruiting class, fraternal brother, blood brother or sister. Family doesn't matter. In the military theater or civilian theater, you got to train yourself to cut the dead weight. Because in this pursuit of success, there are some people who like to be around you, hoard your light, and want to sandbag their way and drag you back because they don't feel comfortable outside you. That's what leeches do. They can't provide shit on their own. They're afraid to. Most of you provide that comfort that they cannot afford to give to themselves. You got to train yourself to receive solid compliments. I know as men, we don't get that many. And when we do, usually it's rarely authentic. There's usually some bullshit behind it, which leads into who you choose. Train yourself to stop settling. You can't call everybody a friend. You cannot call everybody a brother. Which is why you must train your eye, your foresight, and your intuition to sharpen to the point where you can see and vet people accordingly. You must train yourself to understand the importance of system, order, and structure. That way, when you start training yourself to receive the greatness of yourself, you start having standards, boundaries, which vet people to either earn their place in your space or earn your ire and distance. It doesn't matter if you're a junior, a young man, a man in my peer group, or one of the elders. You don't have the time to play like that. You have to tell people, play with yourself, but don't play with me. See, when you start training yourself to take yourself seriously on that level, this is where you minimize bullshit. This is when you start seeing the fruits of your labor manifest uninterrupted. Because you start understanding the necessity of being both the gardener and the warrior. You'll protect your fields, but more importantly, you'll protect yourself. Train yourself to understand that your time matters. Train yourself that through the pain of self-improvement, you'll cut out the weeds out your life. Some of them birthed you. Some of them raised you. Some of them grew up with you. When you start doing your training, you start understanding everybody has their place. You start training your heart and your mind to understand that not everybody was meant to go to the next level with you. Some people are comfortable with mediocrity. And that's their right. But if you're sick and tired, like I know you're sick and tired, it's time for you to get into that spiritual boot camp. Just like my fellow Marines started their journey on those yellow footprints, you got to find yours, which happens to be in the very space that you're in right now as you're listening to this. It's your time. And I assure you, this training will not be easy. You ask any Marine or military veteran, that training was not easy, but when you look at the end of it, when they came home after graduation, those cheers, those praise, those hugs, the reception of your evolution, it hits different. Train yourself to celebrate your wins. It's your time. And the training starts now. So shout out to all you guys and let me know. In the comment section especially. Anybody can sit there and say what you need to say. But this is for everybody. And also train yourself to appreciate the people who inspire you. As far as masculinity and evolution, you didn't get here by yourself. You get a lot of people say, I got out the mud, I did it by my own. No, you didn't. That's cap. There's always a mentor. There's always needed words. Poetry that is food for the soul that inspires you to get to a certain point. Because most times you fought those battles by your damn self. And when you were ready, you saw the reinforcements coming. Train yourself to hone that weird warrior spirit. They call it toxic. Until shit starts running wild. Then they're going to call your toxic ass to save the day. But more than anything, brother, save yourself. And not going overseas just to chase loose ass. I'm talking about internally. Save the big piece of chicken for yourself. Stop settling for Crushyfoot Carla. She needs to bring more to the conversation, not the table. More bring what she needs to bring to you. Is more than just a wet ass, available holes, and her problems. It's one thing to smash her. But it's a totally different thing when she provides reasons for you to fuck with her. that, you guys let me know in the comment section. Keep it pushing. Semper Fi, and I'm going to get to work. And I'm going to get my bonus. So salute to y'all and let me know what's up. Never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. Peace.